Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The night I found out, the rain hadn't stopped for hours. It whispered against the kitchen window like a warning I refused to hear. My husband's phone was on the counter, glowing with a notification I should have ignored. Diamond Whisper proposal package confirmed. I stared at the words as if they belonged to someone else's life. My breath hitched. My fingers trembled so badly that I almost dropped the phone. Proposal. Package. Confirmed. But I was already married to him. For a full minute, I stood frozen, the hum of the refrigerator and the rain's quiet tapping amplifying the hollow ringing in my ears. I opened the message, my chest pounding so loudly it drowned out everything else. A reservation at the Sapphire Hotel. Ocean View Suite. Champagne service. Rose petals. A violinist. And the name of the woman. Clara. My best friend. The room tilted. My knees nearly gave way as my body tried to understand what my mind refused to accept. I remember the first time he said her name. Clara's husband left her, he'd told me over dinner 6 months ago, his tone soft, sympathetic. I think she could use some company. Maybe we should invite her to the barbecue next weekend. I'd smiled then, genuinely, grateful that my husband still had kindness left in him after everything life had thrown at us. After 15 years together, I believed we were unbreakable. I believed love meant safety. Now, as I scrolled through his messages with her, laughs, secret plans, emojis, and late-night calls, I realized how naive I'd been. There wasn't one message of guilt. Not one pause. Only passion, excitement, and a chilling sense of inevitability. I didn't cry. Not that night. I didn't scream or throw things or wake him from the bed we shared. Instead, I opened my laptop and began drafting a divorce plan like a general mapping out a quiet war. Bank accounts. Assets. The mortgage. My lawyer's number. By the time he came downstairs the next morning, sleepy-eyed and humming, I'd already scheduled a consultation. "Morning, love," he said, kissing my temple. "You look tired. You okay?" "Just couldn't sleep," I murmured, forcing a smile. "Too much on my mind." He grinned. "Pouring coffee. You and me both." The irony nearly made me laugh. Over the next week, I became an actress in my own home. I cooked his favorite meals, laughed at his jokes, asked about work. I studied him like a stranger, his body language, his sudden bursts of affection, his careful hiding of his phone. Every touch of his hand burned. Every word he said was a test of how far I could pretend. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was realizing how easily he could compartmentalize his guilt. How he could come home to me, make love to me, and then text her afterward, "Good night, my real forever." That message I read at 3:12 a.m. I sat in the dark, phone in my hand, light slicing across my tear-streaked face. My real forever. That was the moment my love for him finally died. When I told Clara I wanted to meet for lunch, she said yes immediately. "Of course," she'd chirped. "It's been ages." We met at a cafe near the pier. She wore a white dress, soft waves in her hair, her perfume sweet and floral, the same one I'd gifted her last Christmas. "You look beautiful," I said, my voice calm, deliberate. Her smile flickered. "Thank you. You too. How's Daniel?" I tilted my head slightly, watching her carefully. "He's been busy." Something behind her eyes shifted. A small, sharp flinch she tried to hide behind a sip of coffee. I almost pitied her. Almost. "Funny thing," I said, leaning in. "He's planning a big surprise for someone." Her spoon clinked against the cup. "Oh." "Yes," I said, letting the words drip slowly. "A proposal. Rose petals. Champagne. The whole fairy tale." The color drained from her face. I smiled. "You should probably say yes when he asks. He's quite the planner." She didn't speak. Her throat bobbed. Tears welled up, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no rage. Just an eerie calm. I stood, left enough cash for my drink, and walked away before she could respond. The sea wind outside was cold, but it felt cleansing. 2 days later, Daniel told me he had to go out of town for work. I helped him pack. Kissed his cheek. Watched him drive off with his overnight bag and the diamond box hidden in his jacket. Then I called my lawyer. By the time he returned, I'd moved half my belongings to storage and transferred my share of the savings into my personal account. The divorce petition sat neatly on the dining table next to his untouched dinner. I was upstairs when he found it. Anna. His voice cracked through the silence. What the hell is this? I walked downstairs, calm, detached. It's a divorce petition. His face twisted. You can't be serious. What is this about? Clara, I said simply. His mouth fell open. The color drained from his skin. Anna, it's not. Don't. My voice sliced through his excuses. I saw the messages. The hotel booking. The proposal. He stared at me, guilt and panic flickering across his face like lightning. I didn't mean for it to. You didn't mean to get caught, I finished. For a moment, he looked like he might reach for me. I love you, he said weakly. I just got confused. I laughed then. A hollow, bitter sound. You bought a diamond ring for my best friend. Confused isn't the word, Daniel. Cruel is. He tried to speak, but I was already walking away. A week later, he called to tell me he'd proposed anyway. That she'd said yes. And that she'd left him 2 days later. Apparently, guilt didn't look good in engagement photos. I didn't say a word. I only listened to the sound of him unraveling, the man who once thought he could have 2 lives, 2 loves, and keep both worlds from colliding. When he finally stopped talking, I said softly, you should have planned better. And hung up. That night, I stood by the window again, rain sliding down the glass like a mirror of that first night. But the ache in my chest wasn't heartbreak anymore. It was freedom. He'd planned his proposal the same week I planned my divorce. And somehow, that symmetry felt poetic. 2 endings written in secret, one built on lies, the other on truth. I poured myself a glass of wine, smiled faintly at the reflection in the dark window, and whispered, here's to the woman who finally chose herself. And for the first time in years, I slept without dreaming of him.